welcome to the 22nd episode of the Under the Umbrella podcast from the Big Green Umbrella Media Studio. We are your hosts, Cody Williams, Cityview reporter with
Tammy Pearson, Iowa Living Magazine's editor.
Good morning, Tammy. How are you doing?
I'm doing lovely, thank you.
And
you?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing pretty good. I got to get out in the sun yesterday, played some outdoor pickup basketball with a couple of my friends. That was nice.
Nice. I was outdoors as well, planting some plants in my planters.
Ooh.
There's a lot of plants in that sentence.
A lot of plants in your planters. Any
Yes.
peanuts?
Peanuts?
Planters?
Oh, boy.
That's pretty good, Tammy. Oh, you didn't give the riddle to anyone this morning.
I know. I was gone this morning and I failed in my morning huddle duties. Yes.
What was the
People don't want to hear our riddles.
I want to hear I at least want to hear the answer to this one. It was why does the computer say hi?
No, why does the computer sing hello?
Sing hello
To everyone who walks by.
Why does the computer sing hello to everyone who walks by?
The song hello, because it's Adele. Get it? Do you get it?
Adele, the singer.
And Adele, the computer.
And Adele. That's pretty good.
Thank you. I thought I'd impress people by, actually knowing who Adele is.
Oh, everybody knows Adele.
Do you think so?
Oh, yeah. And especially that song.
We'll do a poll of the office and see.
Who knows Adele? Everybody's got to know Adele.
Let's find out.
We could find out. But I had to know. I had to find out. It was on everybody's minds this morning without you there.
Well, I missed when I'm gone, I guess.
Oh, my gosh. Unequivocally.
Right.
Those hours when you're gone on Wednesday, I don't know what to do.
Right.
Well, how about we hop into the news?
Oh, there's lots of news.
There's a little
what
news.
What is it? Tell me.
Just this morning, I believe, the Iowa Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management launched a disaster recovery website to help Iowans after severe storms. That's www.iowa.gov/Iowa-disaster-recovery. Amidst all the recent storm damage and the tornadoes, I'm sure is why they've launched this. I'm sure it's something that they were also had probably in the works for some time. But just looking at it right now, it's got a couple different links to getting assistance from the state of Iowa, applying for federal assistance, if there's a disaster proclamation in your area, press releases and updates on what's going on. There's volunteer information if you're looking to help out anybody, and also a link to donations to where you can donate if possible.
FEMA representatives were in Greenfield. They were stopping by homes, seeing how people were doing. Saw them going down the sidewalk and found out they'd stopped at my home, but I wasn't there.
Oh, man.
They had to talk to my son, who told them that everything was fine.
Well, that's nice.
Which is good for us.
Yeah, that is very good for you guys. It's nice to see that. They're going around, they're helping people out. The state of Iowa providing resources for people like this.
Yes, check those sites because there are still a lot of needs out there. Yeah,
and like I said, even if you're not somebody who was directly affected by it, they do have volunteer information and donation information on that website. If you are, if you're feeling helpful or are able to help or want to help. I thought that was nice.
Many people have responded to those things. It's wonderful to see the outpour.
Iowa's coming together.
That's right.
As we do. Oh, Tammy. We're locked in.
As always, Cody.
As always. Well, I kind of want to...
minds are on same track.
Wavelength. We're on the same wavelength.
Yes. You got more news?
I do have a little bit more news. Now, I do want your opinion on this. I am pretty curious. Hoover is continuing to go forward with what they're calling their Hoover mental health movement. Phones, starting next school year, I believe, will be in book bags during classes, between class exchanges, and only to be used at lunch if need be. I wonder how you feel about that, Tammy.
Well, Cody, you were in high school more recently than I, but I thought that was always the case. I mean, aren't your phones supposed to be put away in school already?
That's that's how it was for us anyway. You weren't allowed to have your phones out. And, it was, I mean, it felt like you were in Mission Impossible trying to get a text off during class. Or, sometimes if you had a light day, your teacher would say, you guys can be on your phones today, or after you get this amount of work done, you can be on your phone. Oh, yeah. But I think the big problem was it came with like teacher permission. I think as if you could have your phone out was the big thing. I always felt like you could definitely have it or be on it in between, from class to class, and definitely at lunch. But it would always be in your pocket. And I feel like what a lot of kids now, and I definitely notice this anywhere you go, one of the first things people do when they get somewhere, they take their phone out and they put it on the table. You notice that?
True, yes.
And I'm a little guilty of that.
Well, there sits my phone on my desk. There sits your phone on your
Which,
desk.
there it does. But, and the thing is, though, I would never imagine that that's happening in school. But I feel like that's probably why they want to push forward with it. I bet there's tons of kids who, they get to their desk, they sit down, they just put their phone on their desk. And they said the reason why they wanted in book bags is because even, the vibrate goes off on your phone. That's enough of a distraction for you to look at it or distract you from what you're working on.
I mean, in my days, we might pass notes.
Yeah.
In class, but nowadays, you just type a little note into your phone. You could be harassing the person that's sitting next to you or whatever. I do think cell phones should be put away in school.
I think
at home.
And at home. Just get rid of them. We're going back to mail by pigeon.
Have them in your car in case of emergency. Have them in your backpack for emergency. But otherwise, people, turn them off.
The constant attention to the phone has definitely had an effect on mental health, I think. What I find interesting is that the age that I grew up in, and so elementary school phones, none of us had phones in elementary school. And if you did, you didn't bring it to school. It was for like if you went, to a friend's house. Or even then, when I went to a friend's house, I used their house phone if I had to call my mom or, call the house. But then in middle school, like more kids started getting phones, but they were never really being used during the school day. And then in high school, it was just common. Like I would text my friends throughout the school day. I feel like for this generation of kids, they probably had phones in elementary school.
Oh,
they
yes.
definitely had them in middle school.
I know. Kids are getting phones, tablets, etc. when they're quite young.
It's crazy. And, advances in technology are good, I think, but there's got to be limits. They shouldn't be on their phones that much. Maybe that's
it is bad for their mental
me.
Health, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's detracting from actual interaction with people,
Mm-hmm. And that's a good point.
Instead of getting together, kids are just texting each other these days.
Because it used to, like, the big thing was like, oh my gosh, you have phone and social media, you can be so much more connected with people. But now people are becoming even less connected because they're doing it. It's so much easier to just do it on your phone. You're not getting that real, connection. And I think there's still plenty of it out there, but it's definitely a lot different. If you wanted to go see your friends, you had to call their house phone, go over there.
Nobody has a house phone now.
Nobody has a house phone.
Hardly. I won't say nobody, obviously. Some do.
Right. But we have one at home. I cannot remember the last time someone called our house phone.
I don't even have one.
Right. Why would you need it?
Well,
everyone just calls me on the phone. But I think that's good. I think Hoover setting that precedent is pretty good, and I wouldn't be shocked if other DMPS schools and other schools around schools around Central Iowa and everywhere else starts to kind of implement something like that.
Well, it's becoming a more talked about concern, how cell phone use affects mental health. So I think there's kind of a backlash to their use now that wasn't there before. Mm-hmm. So, is there any sports going on?
There's plenty of sports going on. Tammy, the Iowa high school soccer state tournament is happening right now for the boys. Plenty of Central Iowa schools were in action and plenty of other schools in general. In 4A, Johnston, Pleasant Valley, Iowa City West, and Dowling all advanced to the semifinals for 4A, and a lot of close, really good games. You can find those highlights online. But a couple of 3-2 games, a 2-1 game, and I believe the last one was 4-2. That score wasn't posted on Bound, but I found it no matter what.
Perseverance.
Other
Close
Central,
games. Yeah.
a lot of close games and a lot of good games. A lot of good soccer talent in Iowa. My personal opinion. There's a lot of underrated soccer talent in Iowa. Other Central Iowa schools that were in action and that advanced were Norwalk and Hoover. They both advanced in 3A. I believe, Hoover's number 1 in 3A since they got moved down from 4A. They've been dominating in a lot of sports, and they crushed it in 3A this year. And they advanced. I think they're going to play Norwalk in the semis. Gilbert and Perry advanced in 2A, and 8th-seeded Van Meter upset number 1 West Branch to advance in 1A.
Wow.
That's fun. And I think it was like a 2-0 game. I think they kind of handled them pretty well. Well, 2-0, that could go anyway. But
you're a big soccer fan
Huge.
And player in a couple of leagues, right?
Just the one league. And we have a game on Saturday as well.
Go Cody.
Go Moon Crew.
I love that name.
It's a great name.
Cody,
a great name.
I'm curious. What do you do, when you get the goal?
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
Well, since it's a league, and most of this league is made up of adults and a lot of older people, there's not too much celebrating that goes on, at least with us. But I mean, in high school when I scored a goal, I didn't really know what to do with myself. So I kind of just jumped around and hugged my teammates and just kind of shouted a little bit. There's one of my goals that I scored was really great, and I turn around and I just start jumping and waving my arms around. I didn't really know what else to do.
I'd like you to demonstrate later.
Oh, I guess I might blow an ankle.
Oh, you do? Oh, no, don't hurt your ankles.
But I think I should. Those state soccer games, I'll talk about it coming up because they're going to be played tomorrow, and finals are on Saturday, I believe. All the state championships will be played on Saturday, I think. I might try to find some time to go to one of those if I can find the time. Usually I try to go to a Lincoln game every year to see how they're doing. And I have a couple friends who coach at schools. I've got a friend who coaches on the girls team at Lincoln. I got a friend who coaches on the girls team at Roosevelt. I got a friend who coaches on the team at North, the boys team at North. It's nice. I love soccer, and I love local soccer.
And we have it.
And we've got it. But that's all I had for sports news, Tammy. There is very interesting entertainment news.
Ooh.
Tell the people, Tammy.
Me tell the people?
I want you to tell the people.
The Department of Justice is suing Live Nation and Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster controls 70% of U.S. ticket sales, and Attorney General Merrick Garland says that, that doesn't leave room for competition, does it? No wonder tickets cost so much.
Right, and I thought that was interesting because we just talked about how Live Nation was having that big ticket sale where all their tickets were going to be $25. Well, right. Not all, but for all of their concerts were going to be $25. And now they're getting sued. And I think, anyone who has tried to go to a concert or tried to buy concert tickets recently, they're ridiculous. They're expensive. And if you go to local shows, those are still very affordable, I think. If a show that's not from Live Nation, maybe at a Woolies or an XBK or a Lefties, those are all still really affordable if you want to go see a show. But any really big name artists, you're spending hundreds of dollars if you want a ticket.
Yeah, and that's beyond what many of us can do.
Right, you can't. When people get priced out like that, I feel like a lot of their biggest fans and their core audience don't get to go to those shows.
Yes,
I think that's upsetting.
Yes,
and that's a problem everywhere with all those prices going up. There's stuff about soccer too that's going up lately, they're jacking their season ticket prices up. That's completely unrelated to this, but it made me mad when I saw it.
Tickets.
But so be on the lookout for that and how that ends up going down. Oh, the jury in Trump's New York hush money trial has started deliberation. I just got that notification.
Breaking
deliberating for a second day.
news. Yes, I was going to say
Second day. That's right. Keep an eye out on that too. That's pretty big as well.
Oh, there's always plenty to keep our eyes on.
Yeah, but
especially the road.
Yeah, keep your eyes on the road. Tell them.
Okay, go on.
But yeah, keep an eye out on that. See how that goes. Maybe if they break that up a little bit, create some more competition, prices will hopefully lower for those who are looking to get concert tickets.
Meanwhile, go to your local venues where you don't need to go through Ticketmaster.
Yes,
and enjoy
go to your
live
local
entertainment
venues.
offered.
Support those, local bands, local artists. Support them because there is plenty and plenty of them out there, especially in Des Moines, an underrated amount. Tammy.
What, Cody?
We asked Cityview readers on our Facebook page, where did they hang out as a teenager?
Oh.
And we got tons of responses.
Such as?
So, well, I'll tell you, a lot of people said the mall, whether it be Merle Hay or Southridge, which was pretty normal. The thing we definitely got the most of were people who went to the Loop. They scooped the Loop.
Scooping the Loop.
I never did that.
We didn't have a Loop on the Army base in Germany, and we didn't have cars, and we didn't have driver's license. So us teens did no scooping of loops.
No scooping of the loops.
Darn.
I think, it's definitely not as popular as it once was back in the day. I mean, my mom told me about it. She said that's what they did every single week. They would just go down there and either watch or participate and stuff like that. Same thing with my dad. That's definitely the thing we got the most of. People were scooping the Loop. A couple people said different parks, some restaurants that have closed down, some bars that have closed down. Pinball Wizard. I don't know what that is or what that might have been. It would have been an arcade.
I imagine.
An arcade.
Yes.
Skate East, Skate South, places like that. And I was curious, where did you hang out, Tammy, in your youth?
Well, my youth was rather uneventful. Most of my hanging out was at home. But I do remember that we had a little pizza place on the base where we would go. In college, my favorite hangout space was the library where I could sleep. But
Sleep?
You just meant hanging out with other people, huh?
Yeah. Well, a favorite place to hang out in general. I think you can hang out in solitude. There's nothing wrong with that.
I often hang out in solitude or with cats if possible.
That's pretty good.
Where did you hang out?
I for the most part, it really was just at friends' houses.
Oh,
I would really just go over to friends' places or we would go to the park. The thing we probably did a lot of was go to the Y, the Southside Y, and play basketball back when memberships were $5, and it was pretty easy to just get into the Y. And now they're, that Southside Y's gone now. It's a Genesis, and those are like $60 for a month.
Right.
Even the downtown Y is around $50 to $60 too, but they offer a lot of stuff. But that was, we'd go to the park, play outdoor basketball. It was really just playing basketball and stuff like that, or going over to a friend's house, play video games. That's all I didn't get into too much trouble as a teen either.
Good.
A couple of e-brake turns in the car.
Why does that surprise me?
I was a good boy. Looking at some of the other
I'll ask your mother, see if she agrees with that.
Oh my God, I know exactly what she'll tell you.
What?
He hated staying here. He always wanted to live at Blake's house. He wanted to live with Matthew. Every time I would come home, this was the thing that drove me crazy, Tammy. I would get home, and my friend Matthew, they always had these fudgesicles, and I would go over, and they'd have just a horde of them. And his parents would say, "Go out, have them, have as many as you want." I'd get home, I'd be like, "Mom, can we start getting these fudgesicles?" She goes, "Why don't you just live at Matthew's? Why don't you just move there?" And I was like, we can't buy fudge.
An endless fudgesicle supply would get me to move too.
It was great. Or frozen pizza at my friend Blake's house. I'd come home. Can we get Jack's Pizza? Why don't you just move down the street? Why don't you just leave your poor mother at home? That was always how that went down.
Oh, boy.
She'll tell you that. Or she'll tell you that I just went and played basketball somewhere with some friends. but that was pretty consistent.
I got to meet your mom someday.
You've got to. She should come to an event or something.
Yes.
She's not much of a drinker.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, Summer Stir. They're fun events.
Okay,
But
we do
she doesn't
have
leave the
drinking
house.
events,
We
yes.
do. She reads. She's a reader. If we have a book event, she'll be right there. She'll be first in line.
Oh, let's do it.
But I think we're pretty similar in that way. Didn't get out into too much trouble.
Well, our parents were grateful for that.
Certainly. But I tell you what, if you are one of those people who want to get out of the house and want to do something other than play basketball in a park, there's plenty of that to do this weekend.
You live in the right place if you want to
live
get
in
out
the right
and have
place.
fun. Tell me what's happening.
I'll tell you, Indianola's having their summer bash today. If you want to get out there and enjoy everything of that community festival, they'll have food trucks, bounce houses. Maybe some of you are too old for bounce houses, but bring the kids. They'll enjoy the bounce house. The Greek food fair is tomorrow until June 2nd, which is through the whole weekend if you're looking to get some good Greek food, which I don't think outside of like gyros, I don't think I've ever really had Greek food. I might have to hit that one up.
That would be a good opportunity.
That would be really nice. Des Moines Con starts June 1st, ends June 2nd. That's Saturday and Sunday. If you want more of that state soccer action, games are being played at Drake Stadium or the new Mediacom Stadium tomorrow and Saturday. So that'll be the semifinal games and the finals. They're going to be split between those two. So go to Bound or check your school's website or those schools' websites where they're going to be playing if you want to see some good soccer, see some good state soccer, some of the best athletes in the state. Kicking, running, shooting, jumping.
It's
more running.
a lot of running.
A lot of running. But yeah, plenty to do this weekend and more.
Wow.
Wow.
Is that it?
That's
That
all I
you've
got.
Cody?
That's all I got.
Well, we better get back to work.
We better
then.
get back to work then.
Oh, it's been fun, Cody.
As it always is.
Yes.
As it
indeed.
always is.
Bring donuts next time, would you?
You know what? I just might.
Oh,
I'm starving now that you
Great.
mention it. Would love a donut. But that's going to do it. That's going to do it for us. We want to say thank you for listening from everyone at Big Green Umbrella Media. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. You can read Cityview stories at www.dmcityview.com. If you see a copy at one of our 800 rack locations around the central Iowa, you can pick one up and give it a read. You can subscribe to the Daily Umbrella at www.thedailyumbrella.com/subscribe. If you have a story suggestion or would like to make a comment, you can send those to editor@dmcityview.com. Thank you and goodbye.